I'm fixing to start doing some manual waterline trenching, but I'm also going to be on the tractor. Ran out of diesel, had to run to town, but thank goodness it's daylight savings time. I am tired of it getting dark early. Get in the comments and let us know how you feel about daylight savings time. If they were to just leave it like it is right now, it would be dark until about 9 a.m. in the morning, but we would get an hour of extra daylight in the peak of winter in December. Is that something you guys would like to see change? Man, I would love to get rid of daylight savings time. Hit the like button if you'd like to get rid of daylight savings time. I hate it. I'd rather it be dark till 11 in the morning. I can work on the company time in the dark, but when I get home, I want it to be sunlight. I'm going to show you guys. Yeah, that's what I thought. How's it going? Man, I'm terrible with names. I know you as Hendrickson. I know I'd remember your name as soon as you say it. But this right here is where I've dug by hand. Let me show you a couple things here. So I thought I would go in here, and Shayla was like, "Well, why don't you go in the corner where there's a hole?" Well, that's for power, and I thought, I don't know. Yeah, maybe we'll go in that corner, and then we go, well, we actually have water line that comes out this corner, goes through the floor of the well house and into the house. So I thought, let's go in the one that's got a water line. And it's cased with a cast iron pipe. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a cast iron pipe. So I couldn't get in the one with the water. So what I'm doing is I'm going to come in the one that has electrical. It's like a 4-inch hole, and there's only one electrical cable that comes up in the corner to the panel, and it's in conduit. So I'm going to get, I don't know if you can see the conduit or not. It's pretty muddy, but it's in there. I promise you it is. And I'm going to come up with my water line. I'm going to put a 90 right here, come up to a 90. I'm going to run along the baseboard, and I'm going to go tie into the well. And we are trenching right here. So the kids got a array of tools out because I paid Rylan $10 to tunnel under this sidewalk. So he has, I don't know if you can see that, but there you go. Rylan has successfully tunneled under the sidewalk using my punches. I'm sure I lost a couple. Hey, that's why I shop at Harbor Freight. And of course, files and a tape gun. You need files and a tape gun to trench under there. So let me block that sun off you. So I got the backhoe, the Chinese backhoe. I got it hooked back up. And I'm making some pretty good headway, but as I said in the intro, I ran out of diesel, had to run to town. So what I'm doing right now is trenching this, and it's about, I could go a little deeper. I think it's about 16 inches deep, but that'll be plenty for Oklahoma. Right? Yeah, best $10 I've ever spent. And there's going to be a spigot. Let me walk down here and explain what I'm going to do. But right here, there's going to be a spigot. Ultimately, there's going to be a gate. There's a pipe I'm going to build my H-brace out of. There's going to be a gate right here, and there's going to be a spigot. Probably going to put it, I'm going to go just right about there. And what I do when I put that spigot in, is I leave a pigtail off of it with a bull plug on it, so that I can always grab a hold of that, and I could end up running one over to where our pigs are. I could run another spigot over there if I wanted to, or I could just grab it and I could trench out to there, and I could put a spigot anywhere I so choose. But for now, let's see. It's almost knee deep. It'll be deep enough for Oklahoma water lines. So that's what I'm doing this evening. What are you guys doing with your extra hour of daylight? The boys and Shayla are at baseball practice. I played catch with Rylan before he went to practice, uh, so that I didn't make him feel bad if I missed his practice. So that's where they're at. I'm gonna come over here. I've got a lot of digging, and by the way, if you didn't catch on, I dug by hand right here because I have power line coming from there. So rather than getting the backhoe in here, I decided just to dig by hand. So that'll end up getting filled in. That's not going to be utilized. I will have to dig there. But what are you guys doing with your daylight savings time? Are you utilizing your extra time? I don't know if you guys would be interested in watching me dig, but I've got to dig. I've got to dig from over there. The last place we buried the line at was right there. And then it runs all the way over. There's a spigot right there. And when I installed that spigot, I pigtailed it with a bull plug. And now we have since ran water out to the corral. But that water line right there on the ground has never been finished. It actually permanently tied into the water on our property. And it ends today or tomorrow. I'm tired of not having my water able to be permanently tied in. In the wintertime it freezes. Yeah, Jennifer's up in Canada. I imagine it's pretty cold there. It got chilly Saturday on us, but it's doable now. It's not too bad. Let's see if I can plug my phone in. It's going to die. I've got way too much digging to do. See, right here's the line. Probably, I got a bunch of extra coiled up. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to unwind it, run it around the corner when I get there. Luckily, we've been having that rain because it's not always this easy to dig. That's crazy. Wood chips right here. I don't remember leaving any wood chips here. You know, Jennifer, you could move down south a little bit where your winters are a little bit shorter, but that comes with a trade-off. You know, you got really harsh winters or you've got really harsh summers. You gotta pick which one you want. Very little in between. You can go to places like California, they've kind of got some in between weather, but their politics and stuff are less than desirable. I refuse to have frozen water lines another winter. And then as soon as we get this place the way we want it, we'll probably be moving. And the reason I say that is because I wouldn't mind staying here, quite honestly, the rest of my life if it wasn't for the fact that we've got a cell phone tower. We do want more land, but I'd be okay with buying more land and staying here. But we've got a cell phone tower right in our backyard. And if you know anything about electromagnetic radiation, it's definitely not good for you. Ooh, I wish I could use the backhoe right here. Unfortunately, if I were to back up right here to dig this way, I've got a water line runs off the well to that corner of my well house, and I'd be afraid I'd get into it. And also, if you're digging parallel to your line, sorry, horizontal, you're digging horizontal with your line, that backhoe makes way bigger mess than it needs to. Way more backfill to do. So, I'm not going to do that. Lots of tree roots right here. And I hurt my knee playing catch with Rylan earlier. So every time I step weird on my right knee, he wants to buckle on me. So while I'm digging, I'm constantly fighting that. I'm going to take a breather for a minute. Read a comment or two if there's any. Not as strong as I once was. Time catches up with you. I don't remember what I said. Maybe it was the knee thing, but yeah, I'm definitely getting older. It would have been easier if I would have done this 3 years ago instead of putting it off. We dug the original trench to the dog yard by hand, and for whatever reason, one thing or another, I kept saying I'd get it the next year or the next few months. Just never happened. Lots of earthworms this year, though. This is we've moved away from using too many wormers. Like we'll worm a goat when we absolutely have to, or a cow. We've been trying to move away from them. We've been trying to do better on mineral, keeping them up on mineral and whatnot. And ever since we've quit using the wormers as often, I have got 10 times the earthworms around here that I used to have. So that's a good thing. You want lots of earthworms if you're gardening or farming. Otherwise, you might not care too much. But if you don't care too much, you've probably got earthworms because you're probably not worming cattle and spraying pesticides or anything around your property. But I can tell you this, since we've started paying more attention to worming our goats, we have had better results with their kidding and everything. We still have a few goats that have not done well, and they're going. They're not going to stay on this homestead. They're not. We want animals that are hardy. We've got 70% of our goats are performing exceptional without wormer, and then 30% need wormer and need more attention on the mineral, and they're going to go. If one set of goats can do it without those things, and the other set can't, well, that tells you something. Tells you their genetics are not going to lend themselves to self-sufficiency, to hardiness, and ultimately, if you're trying to make money, you don't want to be putting extra into your animals that you don't need. By selecting the right genetics, we can get, a lot of those things taken off the bottom line. I'm not saying you'll get away from it 100%. There's always going to be a necessity to have a wormer around. We try to save life, and if that means worming an animal, we will still do it. But with this warm weather, speaking of those things, you know what's coming up is fly season. And I promise you, instead of putting ivermectin or anything like that on your cattle, kill lice, or feed through pesticides to stop the productive cycle of flies, if you'll just feed garlic, it will do the job good enough to prevent lice and flies that you don't need to worry about it. You'll still have a few flies, but it does a good enough job. So with this warm weather, what I was getting at is I need to get started on my garlic. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get garlic into your cattle ahead of fly season. And the quicker you get on it, the better it's going to work. Yeah, I don't like flies either. Smooth operator. I am digging a trench for a water line. Nothing too crazy, but as busy as we are, it is getting kind of hard to get some videos out from time to time. So I figure while we're busy just working, taking the kids to baseball and whatnot, why not just do a live stream? Answer some questions if anybody has any questions. And just show you homesteading, farming, ranching. These things can be made to be very glorious by some channels. Some channels will make it seem like it's the life you want. When in reality, I think most people that get into it who weren't born into the lifestyle will get out of it, ultimately. I think when they realize the cost of homesteading, I'm not just talking about money, I'm talking about your time, your endurance, sometimes your physical health, as far as sometimes you get banged up doing this stuff. I think most people will quit within about 3 to 5 years starting the lifestyle of becoming a farmer or homesteader, rancher, whatever you want to call it. Hey, I'm making some headway. I'll be burying my line before I know it. Dang it. Got dirt in my beer. dirt don't hurt. Let's see. I can't even see how many people we've got in here. It's not telling me. But if you guys will, if you'll double tap the screen in these vertical lives, it'll like the video. And if you like it, somebody else might come in here and find me. Lots of worms. Woo. Woo. Hey, that is taxing. That's why I don't normally drink this old beer on a live, but when I'm doing work like this, it's pretty refreshing. I ain't gonna lie. Oops. Let me. My camera's on a grade right here, so I'm gonna try to straighten it up. But there we go. Sorry for all the bouncing around. This is my scrap pile of batteries. Batteries are pretty good scrap money, and anytime I find a bad battery for cheap or for free or one of my own, I hang on to them for rainy day fund if I ever need money. I like to have some copper wire and batteries and such that I can go scrap for pretty much always going up value. Sometimes the money comes down for periods of time, but it's kind of like gold. Lead and copper never stops going up in value. Maybe briefly here and there it'll drop in value, but it always rebounds. Woo. Oh, I'm getting close. Sometimes it's easier just to keep going and not quit. Maybe paying for it tomorrow. Not only exactly easy day playing tomorrow. Ooh. One thing that's kind of making this a pain is digging along the wall of this shop. I can only move my body in a repetitive motion. I can't change up the ergonomics. So it's really loading the right side of my back. Whereas out here in the open, that was a lot easier to deal with. Yeah, I hit my head, but not very hard, luckily. You know, kind of like this water line that AC unit was a about a 2 or 3 year project in the works. I we bought it we bought it as a return at Atwood's. It's a big unit, like it's a 220 unit. We bought it as a return for $500. I don't know, it's a $900 unit or something. And I never installed it because we didn't insulate the shop. Well, then we finally bought some insulation, and we really wanted the foam, the closed cell foam insulation, and we got a really good deal on fiberglass, like sheets or whatever. They're kind of like boards, like 5x10s or something, about 2.5 inches thick. Got a good deal on those, and it was miserable every time we'd get into them. We'd have fiberglass in our eyes and in our skin and stuff. So it took us a while to get it insulated, but once we finally got the roof and some walls done, this guy got installed, and it made a heck of a difference. Only problem was the summer was almost over, and I still have to do the front doors, but I'm going to spray foam those with some Amazon product because spray foam is closed cell, and if water does get in the doors a little bit, it won't soak in like it will on the fiberglass. So, well, this air conditioner is kind of inconvenient. I don't have a lot of projects that are finished. Oh, the ground's getting hard right here. Sticking to the shovel. Woo. I'm just a couple feet away from tying into where we last buried it. Only I had an extra hand right here. Just so you know, when you got a line that runs through the ground and it comes up out of the soil, trying to get underneath it to where you can lay it flat in that trench again is actually quite challenging. All right. Woo! That's going to do it for the shovel for a minute. And what I'm about to do is go get on the backhoe while I still got some daylight. Yeah, we're doing well here, Foothills. Fixing to, well, I say well, we're doing good, but not bad. Let's let's go operate some equipment. That right there is a tree root. What I'm gonna do, instead of trying to chop it, I'm just gonna dig under it, run under it. And as Hendrickson said, best $10 I ever spent was, well, probably more like 15 or 20 with the tools the kids have probably buried in there, but best money I ever spent was having them dig that out under there. And now I've just got to, whoo, see that water hose right there under the tractor? I've got to get this water line in so we don't have to do that anymore. Let me get y'all out of the sun, face you towards the tractor. We'll do a little digging. Once you're out of the sun, it shouldn't be so ridiculous. All right, let me move this tractor here. Stroud, I had to go get diesel earlier. I'm about to run out. Let me fix that. Really need to get me a diesel tank. When I moved in here, I bought two almost new diesel tanks for $55 a piece at an auction. And I flipped them and sold them. I think I sold them for $250 a piece. It was good money. I'm sure it funded lots of projects around here, but I really wish I'd kept one of them. Ever since then, I've been trying to buy diesel tanks at auction. They go just a little out of reach. Really don't know how I got such a good deal on them. What? Oh, so I overfilled it. So on the vacuum, I overfilled it. The fill's not getting past the breather hole. Once it pulls the vacuum, I gotta let it breathe. This is some good stuff right there. I actually got this for free. Don't take much in it. That's made for like 200 gallons of fuel. All right, let's do a little digging. This backhoe is one of the best money I ever spent. I'll promise you that. This thing, it takes some things that are real, not a lot of fun, like digging by shovel. Takes things like that and makes them actually kind of fun. I like to. You really shouldn't leave this out when you drive forward, but I like to leave it out so that I can see how far to pull forward. Still be able to do. whole lot more fun than a shovel. That's a whole lot better than working the end of a shovel. Yeah, yeah, I've tried to leave it in neutral, but the problem is if I don't plant the bucket or set the brakes, it wants to pull. This backhoe will actually pull the tractor the wrong direction. So, like if I bury these outriggers and start digging, it'll still try to. Actually, let's try. Let's see if the outriggers will hold it. Watch it actually work this time. Well, maybe if I just take a little less bite out of it. So maybe not digging quite as aggressive. Maybe that'll work. Seems to be working. Mitchell. Mitchell's in thing. I knew I remember. There's a run. That's it. There. Whoa. Jiggly stand. Jiggly stand. Hudson, come here. Hudson.
What?
Come here. Right. Left. Yeah. Up. Left. Any more babies? I think, let me see if there's any comments in here. Well, that pretty much concludes the evening. I'm going to keep digging, running out of daylight, and I'm getting off track with my trench over here. So I've got to reposition the tractor, get a different approach at it. And I don't know if you guys come in here after this is published and you enjoyed this, hit the like button. Thank you.